So, you're playing DNF Duel and realize things play out super differently than other fighting games. But don't worry, I'm Yasuoho with The Gamer, and here's a detailed explanation of the main combat mechanics and systems of DNF Duel. HP doesn't work traditionally in this game with red damage and white damage. Red damage is what you'd expect, damage you receive and cannot recover. White damage on the other hand is what you'll see most of the time. That's because red damage can only be dealt through two ways, MP skills or attacks that use your MP bar, and awakening skills, which we'll cover later. White damage is dealt through everything else, standard attacks, grabs, and standard skills that don't use MP. If your opponent blocks an MP skill, however, white damage is also dealt. If your opponent has been hit by any MP or awakening skill while they have white damage, it gets converted to red damage. Most matches consist of building white damage and using an MP skill to convert that to huge red damage. A key difference between white and red damage, aside from their color, is that white damage can recover over time and can be used for conversion, which we'll be covering next. You can't be defeated by just white damage when blocking or chip, so your opponent will still have to score an unblocked hit. Conversion is DNF Duel's other main mechanic, using your HP to cancel most of your attacks and gain MP. You can only convert when you have any amount of white damage bar. The function? Multiple, canceling unsafe moves to block or counter your opponent's counter, or extending combos. Keep in mind it's still risky to use since you still use HP upon converting. To convert, just press standard attack B and skill attack at the same time, or use the single button macro assigned to it. The MP bar is your typical super or EX bar. It allows you to do powerful moves your character has, each spending a different amount across the board. If you have no MP, you will be exhausted and cannot use MP skills for a short time. The command list and the pause menu tells you all of the MP skills your character has at their disposal. DNF Duel is different in that you begin every match with a full MP bar rather than no bar you have to fill up, meaning you can dish out damage quickly if you land a huge combo if you wish. The MP gauge does recover over time, and while it does regenerate quickly, you can make it slightly faster by performing MP skills with the complete motion input. For example, your right MP skill can be performed by pressing right and the MP skill attack. Sure, it's fast, but if you do a quarter circle to the right and press the MP button, you restore MP a bit faster, which can provide you just enough MP to continue a long combo or set up something. Despite MP skills having varying costs, you can still exploit the bar. In other words, as long as you have MP, you can do any MP skill you wish. Swift Master's downward MP skill costs 70 MP. Regardless, even at 30 MP, you can still do it again. Keep in mind how this affects exhaustion. If you use two MP skills that both cost 50 MP, you won't have to wait as long for MP to recover. But in this case, you'll have to wait longer for spending more than you have. Remember this when considering what combo you choose to do with your current resources. You also get more MP as you lose more health as well. We've been talking about offensive mechanics too much, so here are some defensive mechanics. Blocking is your main way of defending and can be done in two ways, stand and crouch blocking. Standing blocks can only block jumping attacks, while crouching blocks can only block low attacks. There are two ways to input a block, holding the direction opposite to your opponent or holding the block button. While it may seem the block button shuts off all forms of offense, you can't block forever. The guard gauge between the health and timer will deplete the more you block. When it fully depletes, you'll be open to a combo. Thankfully, you can bypass your opponent's attacks through two ways, guard cancelling and rolling. Guard cancelling allows you to counterattack while blocking for 100 MP by pressing forward and standard attack B and skill attack at the same time. While it nets you space, it's expensive and can be countered if you're too predictable. Rolling can be done by pressing forward and the guard button at the same time. It's a great way to dodge attacks and even punish seemingly unpunishable attacks. Don't use it all the time to escape though. Like guard cancelling, your opponent can predict rolling too. Every character has an awakening effect and skill, both becoming available when your character has 30% HP or reaches this portion of the HP bar or lower. Awakening effects provide a passive buff that can help turn the tide of the match. Vanguard deals more guard gauge damage, while Hitman gains a new move entirely. Awakening skills are basically your character's super. When it connects, a cinematic attack plays out and deals a huge amount of damage. Use it as a combo finisher since you can't use it more than once and it is not invincible. The tutorial does a great job explaining every character's awakening effects and skills. If you're just starting DNF Duel, this might be a lot to take in, but so is starting any fighting game. Take the time to practice and understand these mechanics fully, and you'll be dominating matches in no time. Okay, I can't promise that, but you'll definitely be less confused about the antics that happen in this game. For more guides and tips for DNF Duel, check out thegamer.com. Thanks for watching.